You could be holding thousands of dollars without even knowing it, because tucked away in your change could be one of the rarest nickels in American history. These are not just 5-cent coins. They are historical treasures, hiding in plain sight, and today we reveal the top 5 rare Jefferson nickels that have shocked collectors and made headlines with their hidden value and unbelievable backstories. Stay with us as we dive deep into the world of these elusive American icons. In the pockets of ordinary citizens, this is not just a nickel. This is the 1986 Jefferson nickel, and its story will take you from the depths of Monticello's heritage to the minting machines of Philadelphia and Denver. Through errors that turned pocket change into collector gold, and into the hands of experts who now guard these coins as treasures of American numismatic history. Rare American coins. Today, we dive deep into a piece of American currency that has traveled silently through history. It is small, it is often overlooked, but the Jefferson nickel from the year 1986 holds a story more powerful than many know. This coin, minted during the Reagan era, carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, a man whose influence helped shape the foundations of the nation, and his face engraved in nickel tells a silent tale of American values, patriotism, change, and legacy. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and for decades it has remained a symbol of continuity in American currency design. But in 1986, this coin entered a unique chapter influenced by historical events, economic conditions, and minting transitions. The coin was struck at 2 major facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, and each carries its own set of identifiers, details, and secrets. The Philadelphia strike bears no mint mark, while the Denver strike bears a small D just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side. Now let us explore what makes the 1986 version different from the rest. The mid-1980s were a time of change in minting technology. Coin production techniques were being modernized, errors became more subtle and rarer, and the market began paying more attention to small details. Collectors started to note that certain 1986 nickels had striking issues: weak strikes die, clashes off-center errors, and sometimes doubling, especially around Jefferson's eye, his hair, and the word liberty on the obverse. As we step further into the timeline, we must look at the historical context of 1986. It was the year when America was focused on technology, space exploration, and strengthening its economy after the inflation-hit 70s. Coins, like the nickel, were mass-produced to meet the increasing demand of daily commerce. But ironically, the mass production also gave birth to unique errors that today turn a 5-cent coin into something that may be worth hundreds or even thousands, depending on grade and rarity. Grading is one of the most essential aspects when it comes to valuing the 1986 Jefferson nickel coins. In mint state condition, particularly MS-65 and above, command higher value, and if you're lucky to have a full steps designation on Monticello, that means all 5 or 6 steps at the base of the building are clearly defined with no marks or breaks. Then you may have a coin that few possess in such clarity. The full step strike is one of the most desirable traits among Jefferson nickel collectors, and only a small percentage of 1986 nickels qualify for this status. Now imagine finding a coin that you thought was just pocket change and learning that it contains a rare mint error, maybe a double die or an off-center strike. These varieties are cataloged and certified by agencies like PCGS and NGC, and once verified, they become hot property in auctions, online marketplaces, and coin shows across America, from coin shops in small towns to major national expos. The 1986 Jefferson nickel continues to be a topic of conversation and fascination. Thomas Jefferson himself might never have imagined that his image on a humble 5-cent coin would become a lasting icon of American numismatics. The coin's reverse still shows his grand Monticello home, the neoclassical dome, the windows and columns all preserved. In tiny detail, as if to remind future generations of his architectural and ideological legacy, this connection between design, art history, and money makes the 1986 Jefferson nickel not just currency, but a cultural artifact. Collectors often ask what to look for when examining a 1986 nickel. Begin with the mint mark, inspect the strike quality under a magnifier. Look for clear details in Jefferson's hair and cheekbone check. Monticello for step definition and study. The rims and edges for any irregularities always weigh the coin. A standard nickel weighs 5 grams, but if the weight is off, it might be an off metal strike or plancher error, and that's where the value skyrockets. This coin is not just metal. It is American memory. It is politics and policy. It is minting mastery and unexpected error. It is collecting and commerce all wrapped into one small piece of metal that continues to circulate unnoticed in drawers, jars, and wallets across the country, maybe even in yours right now. This was just the beginning of our 2-hour journey through the world of the 1986 Jefferson nickel. Stay tuned, because next we will analyze real auction results. We will reveal rare certified examples. We will show expert opinions, and we will compare it to other important years in the Jefferson nickel series. You will learn how to identify the rarest variants, what makes a coin desirable in the eyes of collectors, and why this small nickel still holds big importance in American coinage history. What about proof coins? The U.S. Mint also struck proof Jefferson nickels in 1986 at the San Francisco Mint. These are special collector coins not meant for circulation, and they feature mirror-like finishes and frosted details. Proof 1986 nickels have an S mint mark and were included in annual proof sets. Their values depend on condition, cameo contrast, and packaging. Unopened proof sets from 1986 can be found online or at coin shows, and often contain beautifully preserved examples that make excellent additions to any collection. We must not forget the educational and historical role of the Jefferson nickel. The coin does not just carry monetary value, it carries a representation of American ideals, liberty, independence, architecture, education, and progress are all embodied in the image of Jefferson and Monticello. This coin tells the story of the Enlightenment in America. It tells the story of a founding father whose ideas on democracy and governance still influence the nation. Today, holding a Jefferson nickel is like holding a miniature monument to American philosophy. Beyond its history and errors, the 1986 Jefferson nickel can also be seen as a time capsule reflecting America in the 1980s. This was the year of the Challenger disaster, the Statue of Liberty's centennial renovation, and the peak of the Cold War. This was a time when coins were used daily far more than today, and the nickel was vital in vending machines, parking meters, and daily commerce. Understanding the role of the coin in everyday life helps us appreciate its place in economic history. When it comes to collecting 1986, Jefferson nickels experts recommend building a set that includes both P and D mint marks and seeking out high-grade examples with full steps. Some collectors try to find strike variations and submit them for grading to see if any unique characteristics earn special designations. Values can grow over time, especially as older coins are lost, damaged, or hoarded coins in brilliant uncirculated rolls sealed from the 1980s have become valuable sources of untouched nickels that might contain rare gems. So next time you find a Jefferson nickel in your change, check the date. Look for 1986. Examine Monticello. Check the steps study. Jefferson's profile, weigh the coin if possible, and consider the condition. You might just discover a rare piece hiding in plain sight, a small slice of American heritage sitting in the palm of your hand. This concludes part 1 of our full 2-hour journey into the 1986 Jefferson nickel. In part 2, we will go through the minting process of nickels with real footage from coin presses and die preparation. We will compare 1986 to other important years like 1950 or 2004 to understand how design and rarity have evolved. We will also show real examples of high-grade and error 1986 nickels sold in auctions and explore what collectors are paying today and what the future might hold for these coins. So stay with us as we continue unlocking the value and story of this often overlooked but truly important American coin. Coin that millions ignored but collectors now chase like gold. In 1959, America stood on the edge of a new decade. The Cold War was heating up, the space race was beginning, and behind the scenes, the U.S. Mint was producing a coin that would one day become a silent legend, the 1959 Jefferson nickel. This was no ordinary coin. This nickel carried more than just 5 cents of value. It carried the legacy of a president, the evolving artistry of American coinage, and the rare circumstances that make some of these nickels worth far more than their face value today. To understand the significance of the 1959 Jefferson nickel, we first go back to the origin of the Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The new design featured President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. Felix Schlag was the designer chosen through a national competition. His work would remain on the coin for decades, but over time subtle changes were made, some intentional and others due to wear on dies and minting technology. By 1959, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for over 2 decades, yet something about this year stood out. Production took place at 2 mints, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia version carried no mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins bore a small D on the reverse to the right of Monticello. Over 136 million nickels were struck in Philadelphia and about 168 million in Denver. At first glance, these numbers seem too high for rarity to enter the conversation, but numismatics is not only about how many were made, but how many survived, how they were made, and what errors occurred along the way. Among the most sought-after versions of the 1959 nickel are those with striking errors and varieties collectors have found examples with full steps on Monticello, a detail in the design that often wore away. Quickly full steps are highly prized because they indicate a strong strike from a fresh die, making the coin rarer and more valuable in high grades. Another point of fascination is the so-called proof-like strikes. Although no proof coins were struck in 1959, collectors have discovered coins with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. These are believed to be early strikes from newly prepared dies or coins that were carefully handled, possibly used in special mint sets. Though no official documentation supports this theory, their existence fuels the mystery around the 1959 nickel. Grading plays a huge role in determining a nickel's value. A regular circulated 1959 nickel might be worth its face value or slightly more, but in uncirculated mint state, 65 or higher. Especially with full steps, the value can jump dramatically. Some specimens have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on grade and eye appeal. Now let us examine the metal composition, which remained unchanged from earlier years, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This same alloy has been used on Jefferson nickels since 1946, after the silver alloy used during wartime was phased out. This commonality gives the 1959 coin physical similarity to other dates, but within the surfaces of individual coins lie distinct clues that set them apart. Die polishing, doubling off center strikes, and strike-through errors all create unique, one-of-a-kind variants. The political atmosphere of 1959 adds depth to our story. The United States was immersed in the Cold War propaganda. Fear and innovation ran high. The economy was stable, but tensions abroad loomed large. The nickel quietly circulated through a nation on the brink of the 60s, used in payphones, jukeboxes, vending machines, and millions of hands unaware that some of these coins would become collectible treasures decades later. Collectors began to take greater interest in Jefferson nickels in the latter part of the 20th century as coin collecting evolved from a hobby into a serious investment strategy, with third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC coins began to be encapsulated, certified, and traded with newfound confidence. The 1959 nickel emerged as a key date for collectors seeking high-grade full-step examples and pristine mint-condition specimens. Let us now discuss the difference between business strike and special strike nickels. While no proofs were made regular, business strike coins still show quality differences due to handling dieware and cleaning methods within the mint coins. Stored in rolls or original mint sets often survive better and can yield higher grades. Another notable variety from 1959 includes the D over D repunched mint mark. This is where a mint mark was struck twice with slight misalignment, resulting in a visible doubling effect. These D over D errors can significantly increase a coin's value, especially when paired with full steps or high-grade preservation. The Jefferson nickel series is unique in that it remained largely unchanged for decades, giving collectors a long timeline of subtle design shifts and minting quirks. To study the 1959 coin exists at a midpoint between early post-war nickels and the modern era. Its place in the series is both stable and significant. Let us also not forget about the role of hoarders and roll hunters who preserved thousands of these nickels, often without realizing their future importance. It is thanks to these enthusiasts that some of the best condition examples have survived in mint state condition. Roll hunting continues to this day, with collectors combing through bank rolls, hoping to find uncirculated coins or rare errors from 1959 and other key years. Educational institutions have also used the 1959 nickel as a teaching tool, helping students understand minting processes, design evolution, and economic history. The coin has appeared in countless beginner coin collections, usually overlooked for its abundance, but upon deeper inspection, it reveals a universe of variation and depth. Today, the 1959 Jefferson nickel remains a staple of American numismatics. While not the rarest, it is one of the most fascinating. It bridges history, design, economics, and mystery in one small 5-cent piece. Whether found in a dusty jar or graded, slabbed, and shining under collector lights, the 1959 nickel proves that even the most ordinary coin can hold extraordinary value for those willing to look beyond the surface. And so this is the story of the 1959 Jefferson nickel, a story without fanfare, without headlines but with richness, depth, and numismatic intrigue, a coin that lives not just in pockets and drawers, but in the minds and collections of those who recognize its quiet legacy and enduring place in the world of rare American coins. Stretch back through American history to the heart of the Eisenhower era. Stick around, because today we dive deep into the untold saga of the 1955 Jefferson nickel, from its design to its rarest varieties to the legendary finds that have shocked collectors and changed lives forever. In the vast and intricate tapestry of American coinage, few coins hold such a quiet mystique as the Jefferson nickel, minted in 1955. For many people, a nickel is just a nickel. Yet numismatists know that this year hides a story woven with historical events, minting challenges, political shifts, and collector surprises. The 1955 Jefferson nickel sits at a crossroads in mid-century America when the United States was stepping confidently into its role as a post-war superpower. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. The interstate highway system was about to change the landscape of the nation, and rock and roll was shaking up culture. But while teenagers twisted and turned to the sound of Elvis Presley at the United States Mint in Philadelphia, and Denver machines were clanking away, producing millions of these nickels designed by Felix Schlag back in 1938. The Jefferson nickel had replaced the beloved Buffalo nickel, a bold move at the time, since the Buffalo nickel itself was cherished for its rugged frontier symbolism. Schlag's design, with the dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello, on the reverse offered a more neoclassical look, tying into the renewed respect for America's founding fathers during the mid-century period. The 1955 issue, however, came with quirks and peculiarities that would intrigue generations of coin hunters. The Philadelphia Mint produced just over 7 million nickels that year, one of the lowest mintages for Jefferson nickels. This fact alone makes any 1955 Philadelphia nickel worth examining, but the real treasure comes with the double die variety. These coins show a doubling of the letters and numbers, most notably on the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word liberty. This doubling happened during the hubbing process, when dies were impressed incorrectly, resulting in a fascinating optical doubling that collectors crave: the 1955 doubled die. Jefferson nickel is nowhere near as famous as the 1955 doubled die Lincoln cent, but in the tight-knit community of nickel collectors, it is a prized find. The Denver Mint that year produced a higher number of nickels. Yet even among these, you can find sharp strikes, weak strikes, and sometimes off-center errors. The Denver issues are marked with the small D mint mark on the reverse beside Monticello. But even so, no major varieties emerged from Denver that year, so the spotlight remains on Philadelphia, and its doubled die story. Collectors have been fascinated by how these errors slipped through quality control during the 1950s, when mint technology was advancing, yet still relied on careful human oversight. Sometimes overworked mint workers missed these doubled dies, and so a small batch entered circulation. Imagine being one of those people in the mid-50s getting a nickel for your soda pop or your newspaper, never realizing that decades later that same coin might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The hunt for these coins has taken on a near-legendary status. Estate sales, flea markets, old piggy banks all become potential treasure troves. When it comes to the 1955 Jefferson nickel, collectors often debate the grading of these coins. Because the strike quality can vary, many are softly struck at the steps of Monticello, which is a critical area for grading. Jefferson nickels coins with sharp full steps are rarer and command higher premiums. This is especially true for the 1955 issue because the low mintage combined with poor strikes means that finding a full steps example is a collector's dream. As the decades rolled on, the Jefferson nickel quietly continued its run until 2004, when the Westward Journey series brought new designs and later the return to Monticello in 2006, yet the classic pre-2004 design holds a timeless appeal. The 1955 nickel captures a snapshot of America during the Cold War, when Americans worried about the arms race Sputnik was about to launch, and families gathered around black and white televisions. Coins from this era hold an intangible sense of nostalgia for the simpler yet turbulent times beyond its historical context. The 1955 nickel also teaches valuable lessons about numismatics. It shows how tiny imperfections create huge intrigue, how human error becomes a collector's delight, and how something as common as a nickel can become an object of fascination when studied carefully. Coin clubs across America often highlight the 1955 nickel during meetings with old-timers, sharing tales of lucky finds, kids dreaming of discovering that rare doubled die, and seasoned graders debating tiny details under magnification. Auction houses have seen fine specimens of the 1955 doubled die nickel fetch impressive prices, especially those in mint state with full steps. Every auction brings new records. As demand grows, scarcity plus condition equals value, and so the hunt goes on. The modern collector uses online databases, coin shows, and grading services to find and verify these coins. Authentication is critical because with any valuable error, there come counterfeits, thankfully. Reputable grading companies like PCGS and NGC help protect buyers by encapsulating these coins with official certification. The legacy of the 1955 Jefferson nickel also intersects with the broader story of Felix Schlag, the designer whose initials FS now appear on modern nickels, yet did not grace the coin until much later. Schlag was an immigrant from Germany, whose work reflects the American dream. He submitted his original design in a public competition, winning the chance to put Jefferson's likeness in the pockets of millions. His story reminds us that behind every coin, there is an artist, a team of engravers, and a mint staff all playing their part in creating history. Fast forward to today, collectors often wonder where the next discovery will come from. Could there still be an uncirculated roll sitting in an attic? Maybe an overlooked jar of nickels passed down through generations? Maybe one more doubled die waiting to make headlines. Such dreams fuel the passion of numismatists young and old and keep the legend alive of the 1955 Jefferson nickel, a coin that was just ordinary pocket change for millions in 1955, yet now stands as a testament to the thrill of the hunt, the power of patience, and the enduring mystery hidden within America's humble 5-cent piece. So next time you see an old nickel in your change jar, look closer. Check the date, examine the motto, inspect the steps on Monticello, because you might just be holding a piece of American history, a tiny sliver of metal that links the past to the present, and might just change your future forever. As we uncover the entire untold story of the 2014 Jefferson nickel, from the first spark of design to the striking of rare error coins that are changing the numismatic world forever. In the world of American coinage, the Jefferson nickel stands as a symbol of continuity and quiet evolution. Tracing its story takes us through the halls of the United States Mint, the minds of engravers, and the hands of collectors who never stop searching for that one piece that makes history. The 2014 Jefferson nickel might seem ordinary to the untrained eye, but it carries a legacy that reaches back to the 1930s when the Buffalo nickel was replaced after 30 years of use. The Buffalo nickel, which itself had been a radical design, showcasing a Native American profile and an American bison, had become difficult to strike clearly, over time leading to calls for a new design. In 1938, a competition was held, and Felix Schlag, an immigrant sculptor, submitted the winning design, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. This marked the beginning of the Jefferson nickel era, spanning decades through wars, economic upheavals, and changes in minting technology. Fast forward to the early 2000s, when the Westward Journey nickel series was launched to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition. This brought temporary design changes to the reverse side, which thrilled collectors and sparked renewed interest in Jefferson nickels. However, by 2006, the nickel returned to its classic Monticello design, but with a modernized, forward-facing portrait of Jefferson by Jamie Franke, who brought a lifelike perspective that connected modern engraving techniques with classic artistry. When we arrive at the 2014 mintage, the stage was set for a quiet yet significant year for nickel collectors. The 2014 Jefferson nickel was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with each mint mark carrying its own significance. The Philadelphia Mint, with its P-Mint mark, produced the highest numbers, but within those millions lie subtle die varieties and striking errors that make all the difference for collectors' die. Clashes, off-center strikes, and double dies are the holy grail for nickel hunters. In this year, sharp-eyed collectors have discovered doubled Monticello letters, repunched mint marks, and even the rare full steps designation, a detail referring to the number of visible steps on Monticello that can turn an ordinary coin into a highly prized specimen. The full steps distinction is no small matter. On a nickel, weak strikes and worn dies often blur the steps. So when a coin shows a crisp, clear staircase on Monticello, collectors pay premium prices. The professional coin grading service PCGS and the numismatic guarantee company NGC regularly certify these coins, and the price jumps dramatically for a full steps specimen in top condition. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors, struck with specially polished dies and handled with extra care. These coins have a mirror-like finish and frosted details, creating a cameo effect. They are never meant for circulation, but sometimes they find their way into pocket change through mishandling or theft, giving sharp-eyed collectors an unexpected treasure hunting moment. The 2014 proof nickels also include silver versions as part of special mint sets, which add another layer to their appeal. To understand the market value, you must study Auction records, private sales, and grading reports in recent years. Top grade 2014 Jefferson nickels with full steps have sold for hundreds or even thousands, depending on their condition errors. And demand one notable example includes a 2014 P. Jefferson nickel with a dramatic die clash that fetched a surprising premium because error collectors seek these anomalies to complete their specialized sets beyond the technical aspects. The Jefferson nickel holds cultural and educational significance. Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a champion of democratic ideals, is immortalized in this coin. His legacy reflects America's complex history of freedom, innovation, and contradiction. Owning a 2014 Jefferson nickel is like holding a small piece of that living history. Some collectors choose to build complete date and mint mark sets starting from 1938 to the present, adding proofs, varieties, and errors along the way. The 2014 issue often fills a critical gap in modern sets as its die varieties and condition rarities keep collectors engaged in the hunt coin roll. Hunting is one of the most popular ways to search for these valuable nickels. Enthusiasts pick up bank rolls, inspect each coin under magnification and hope to spot a mint-era repunched mark, or that elusive full steps example. Stories abound in the numismatic community of lucky hunters who find rare pieces in circulation, turning a 50-cent nickel into a $1,000 collectible. There is a deeper truth to this hobby, too. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and an appreciation for the art and science behind coin minting. The dies that strike these coins endure tremendous pressure and heat, often wearing down or cracking, under stress resulting in the fascinating varieties we chase today. As technology advances, laser scanning, die production, and digital sculpting have made modern coins more precise, yet errors still slip through, reminding us that the human element remains at the heart of minting. Some collectors worry that modern nickels like the 2014 will never match the romance of classic coins like the Buffalo or early Jeffersons. Yet these coins already tell a story of a nation in transition, of design revival, and of the enduring appeal of pocket change that just might hold a hidden treasure. So next time you see a 2014 Jefferson nickel, look closely. Study the steps, inspect the mint mark, and check for doubling. Because in the quietest corners of the coin world, these modern nickels may yet surprise you. We will now dive deeper into each mint. The Philadelphia Mint's massive production numbers, the Denver Mint's sharp strikes, and the San Francisco Mint's dazzling proofs. We will look at grading criteria, how to spot full steps, the best storage methods to preserve your nickels, and how to navigate the market. Whether buying or selling along the way, you will hear stories from veteran collectors, tips from professional graders, and insights into what makes a seemingly common coin an extraordinary find. By the end of this journey, you will understand why the Jefferson nickel, especially the 2014 issue, remains a cornerstone of American numismatics. Its value is not just monetary, it is historical, artistic, and cultural. Join me for this deep dive into the 2014 Jefferson nickel and discover the hidden wealth in America's change drawer, because sometimes a 5-cent coin is worth far more than its face value, and the adventure of the hunt is priceless. This is about the legacy of Jefferson, his vision, and how a simple 5-cent piece could turn an ordinary day into an extraordinary treasure hunt. Now we begin the journey of the Jefferson nickel. The year is 2001, a time when America stands on the brink of change. The country is stepping into a new millennium, yet the face of Thomas Jefferson remains steady on the 5-cent piece, a symbol of continuity, tradition, and pride. But to understand the true value of the 2001 Jefferson nickel, we must travel back to the roots of this iconic coin picture. The year is 1938. The United States Mint wanted to replace the Buffalo nickel, which had graced the pockets of Americans for 25 years. The Treasury announced a design competition, and artists from all over the country submitted their vision for the new nickel. Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor, rose to prominence when his depiction of Thomas Jefferson's profile and his beloved home Monticello was selected. The coin was first struck in 1938 and has seen America through war, peace, prosperity, and crisis. Year after year, the Jefferson nickel remained mostly unchanged, but every so often a slight shift. A new mint mark, a rare error, would transform an ordinary coin into a numismatic legend. Now fast forward to 2001. The world of coins is changing. Technology has advanced. The mint is modernizing. But the Jefferson nickel continues its run. Collectors keep a watchful eye on every bag, every roll of nickels struck by the Philadelphia and Denver mints that year. The 2001 P. Jefferson nickel struck in Philadelphia shows a mintage of over 700 million coins, while the 2001 D from Denver produced even more. Yet within this massive ocean of coins, a few stand out because they carry subtle errors over polished dies, double strikes off-center misalignments, clipped planchets. These rare mishaps can dramatically increase the value of an otherwise common coin picture. A 2001 Jefferson nickel with a double die on. Jefferson's eye, or a weak strike that leaves parts of Monticello barely visible. These errors escape the mint's watchful eyes and find their way into circulation, waiting for the sharp gaze of a lucky collector. The obverse shows Jefferson's stoic profile, facing left the word liberty, in his own handwriting, a subtle yet powerful reminder of his legacy. The date 2001 anchors it in time, while the reverse features Monticello, his beloved Virginia estate, with the words A pluribus unum, 5 cents and United States of America, surrounding it, simple yet powerful. In 2001, no major design changes occurred, but the world of coin collecting was buzzing with anticipation for the upcoming Westward Journey series that would begin in 2004. Until then, the 2001 Jefferson nickel served as one of the final years of the classic design era, making these coins the last guardians of an era soon to change for collectors. Condition is everything. A circulated 2001 nickel may only be worth its face value, but find one in mint state MS65 or higher, and you are holding something special in your hand. Now, let's dive deeper into the grading system. The Sheldon scale ranges from poor 1 to perfect. Mint state 70 coins graded MS65, MS66, MS67 fetch a premium because they show sharp strikes, lustrous surfaces, and no contact marks. Imagine a roll of 2001 nickels uncirculated, untouched by human hands, sitting in a bank vault for decades. These are the coins collectors dream about? Then there are proofs. The special coins struck at the San Francisco Mint, polished, dies, double strikes, perfect details, although there were no proofs struck for circulation in 2001. Any coin that shows proof-like qualities is a gem to behold. But the true thrill comes from the hunt collectors, scour coin rolls, bags, estate sales, hoping to find that one misstrike that slipped through the cracks, a 2001 Jefferson nickel with an off-center strike could sell for hundreds, depending on the severity. A double die reverse, where the columns of Monticello appear doubled, could turn a 5-cent coin into a story worth telling. For generations, some collectors specialize in full steps. The term full steps refers to the crispness of the steps on Monticello. If all 5 or 6 steps are visible with no marks, it indicates a strong strike and can elevate the coin's value dramatically. PCGS and NGC, 2 of the top grading. Services often certify these coins and add pedigree to the find, while many people spend these coins daily unaware. The savvy collector knows that history hides in plain sight. This is what makes the Jefferson nickel special. It is the democratization of coin collecting. Anyone with patience, knowledge, and a good eye can uncover a hidden gem in their pocket. Change the story of the 2001 Jefferson nickel does not end with the coin itself. It is about the people who collect them, the young numismatist who finds a rare error, the seasoned dealer who trades a roll for thousands, the family who inherits a hoard of uncirculated coins. Each nickel holds a story, and every scratch, ding, and mark is a chapter in that story. The metal composition is 75% copper, 25% nickel. No silver, no gold yet. The value lies not in the metal, but in the history. Each coin passed through hands, bought candy, paid tolls, dropped in vending machines, maybe even crossed the ocean in a serviceman's pocket, each one a witness to daily life in America. 20-plus years have passed since the 2001 Jefferson nickel was minted, yet the search continues with new collectors entering the hobby every year and technology making it easier to buy, sell, and grade coins. Communities on forums like Coin Talk or the Collector's Universe share finds, tips, and images. Every rare error found becomes a legend shared from one collector to another. So as you listen to this story, remember the Jefferson nickel is more than just currency. It is a living artifact, a testament to Jefferson's legacy and the American spirit. So the next time you get a handful of change, take a moment, flip that nickel over, look for the steps, study Jefferson's eye, the mint mark, the date. You may just hold a treasure in your palm. And when you do remember, you are not just collecting coins, you are preserving history and becoming part of a community bound by curiosity, passion, and the thrill of discovery. So stay tuned as we explore each aspect of the 2001 Jefferson nickel in even more depth. From mint records to error types to auction results and famous finds, we will break it all down, so you too can become a master of the hunt and perhaps find your own rare nickel that could change your life forever. Keep watching, keep learning, and keep searching, because every nickel tells a story, and your story might be the next great chapter in American numismatic history.